Welcome to Dobby's Repairs. I'm Dobby the Fixing Elf, and in this video I'll show you how to replace the window regulator in a 2011 Citroen C4 Grand Picasso. You can also use this video as a guide to replacing the power window motor. So let's get into it. The first thing we need to do is remove the door panel. So we're going to start by removing this little black plastic cover off the door handle. It hides 3 screws underneath it, so we just use this plastic trim tool to get underneath it and we'll pop it off. It doesn't take long to do this normally. This one being a bit stubborn, but eventually you just work it off and it'll pop off nicely and easily like this. We'll move on to the next part. Now it's time to remove the 3 T20 screws holding on the door panel to the door itself. You can see these are T20s, so they just come out nice and easy with a screwdriver. So that's the first one out. We'll move on to the second one now and get that out. And as you see, that comes out nice and easily as well. And then we'll move on to the third one. It's a bit deeper set back, so get the screwdriver in there and just undo it. Again, once you get all 3 of these out, just take them out of the way and put them somewhere safe, because you'll need them when you put it back together. Now we're going to remove 2 T20 screws from the side of the door, closest to where the door closes. So you can't see that one here. I'll move the camera up now, and this is another T20. And they're just on the side panel here. You can easily spot it when you open the door. And yeah, we just undo nice and easily, as you can see. And now we've got one more screw to remove, and it's down in the corner closest to where the door closes towards the wheel. And yeah, you just have to undo this. It's a nice simple one to get undone. Just unscrew it, and that's all the screws out now. Now we just need to remove the window switch. So just get the pry tool underneath it and just pry it off. And yeah, just come down relatively simply and easily. Once you get it up. Pry tool really helps here. If you haven't got any of these pry tools, I highly recommend getting them before you start this job. It'll make it so much easier and less chance of damaging anything. Yeah, as you can see, it comes out, and then we just got to remove the 2 connectors. They're really easy, just press and then just pull them off, and they're off. And that's the window switch out. Now we can start removing the door panel itself. First of all, take your plastic pry tool and just run around the edge of the door. This will free up any panel clips that are holding it in place. You just want to loosen them up a bit. Just get your pry tool in there and you just pop them off. Like I said, these plastic pry tools are really handy for this. And yeah, just work it round and you'll pry it off. And eventually, once you work it all the way around, you'll have enough gap to get your hand in there. And then all you have to do is pull the door up. It is hooked on at the top, so you need to pull it up and sort of hook it away from the bottom of the door, as you see me doing here. And yeah, as you can see, it all comes up. And then we just lift the door up, and the panel comes off relatively easily. Be careful, you can damage the clips on here, so just take your time. And now that's off, we can start working on the next parts. Now we can remove the power window motor. This is held in by 3 T30 screws. And again, if you're using this video as a guide to remove this, change this motor, shall I say, then this is where you need to get to. It's quite simple really, you're just held in by these 3 screws. They come out relatively easily. And yeah, just undo them. And actually, it doesn't take long to undo them. And then we will work it off once the last screw is out. Just need quite a gentle wiggle once you've got the screws out. Just hook it off the actual window regulator itself, because that's what it's held on by. So as you can see here, I'm going to give it a wiggle now, and it will pop off. And yeah, you can just about see the damage to the window regulator underneath where it's broken. Now we just need to remove the connectors off the motor. So it's held in by 3 of them. So just 1 brown one, 1 black one, and 1 yellow one. And you can see we just remove simply like that. They can be a bit tricky, but you'll get there. So here's just a close-up of the damage to the window regulator. The cable snapped and it just tangled itself up. It all jammed up. But we'll get this removed in a moment and we'll sort this out. So the next step is to remove the speaker from the speaker housing. This is held in by 4 T20 screws. So just need to whip them out quickly. And then we'll move on to removing the housing itself, which is a bit more tricky. But as I said, once you get these 3 T20s out, they'll just pop off nice and easily. They're not held in very tight. And yeah, once you get all 4 of them out, as you can see me here, this is the 3rd one. And now we move on to the 4th one. And yeah, that's out now. The speaker's all loose. Now we just remove the cable on the back of it that's connecting it to it. So once I get the speaker out, flip it up, and as you can see, it's just another simple press connector, and it'll pop off nice and easily. Now to remove the speaker housing itself, is held in by 4 rivets, so we need to drill them out. So as you can see here, I'm just starting to drill out the first one. I won't show you all 4 rivets being drilled out, because that'll be a bit boring, but basically just drill the rivet out with a drill bit, make sure you get the right size for it. And yeah, after a while it'll drill out and it'll go in nice and easily. And yeah, then we'll move on to the next part, which is removing the rivet head itself. So once you drill out the rivet, it'll make it nice and weak. You can just get a screwdriver behind that and pop it off. As you can see here, it'll come off. And you can do the same for all the other rivets. It'll make it nice and easy. So this is the last one we're removing now. Just pop it off. The speaker housing will come away from the body panel of the car, the door panel should I say. The next step is to remove the white insulation here. So I'm just using my knife to cut open a nice big gap so I can get to the rivets on the window regulator. There's also where we had to remove the speaker housing to get to a rivet at the bottom there. Just pull this out of the way and try and keep making it as neat as possible. I'm going to tape it back on later on, but for now I'll just pull it off. And as you can see, that's off now. The next step is to drop the window down. This is as low as I can drop mine down. Luckily it lined up this lovely little hole here that had a bit of white insulation over it, and this will get to the first screw holding the window to the window regulator. It's a bit weird that it's screwed in, but it's got a screw and a plastic holder. But once you remove this screw, it'll drop down and fall into the bottom of the door panel, but I'll grab it out. There it is. It's quite a big screw. And then we'll move on to doing the other side, which you can see a bit easier. As you can see, it's in this little white clip here. Ideally you want to get the window as low as possible, but because of how the window failed, this is as low as I could get it. But yeah, just remove these screws, and then the window will be free from the window regulator, and we can start taping up, which is the next step. So as you can see, that's out. And now we need to tape the window up. This is easy with 2 people. If you've got a spare pair of hands, that'd be great. But just get some tape and just tape the window up over the top of the door and tape it to both sides so it can't fall down. You want to be very careful. You don't want to drop your window and smash it because they're quite expensive to replace. As you can see, once you get some tape on it, it's nice and secure. And yeah, we just tape it up so it's nice and so. Make sure it doesn't want to fall off on us now. And yeah, as you can see, here's a look at the finished example now of the tape. Not the prettiest, but it does the job. Now it's time to drill out the rivets. I've already drilled out the other 3, so this is the last of the 4 rivets that we need to drill out. Just get your drill bit in there and just drill it. Much similar to the speaker housing, but yeah, I just drilled it out. It did like to spin quite a fair bit. I did try and hold it with some pliers, that wouldn't work. So in the end I had to get a screwdriver and a hammer and just knock the head off. And yeah, just give it a couple of good taps and the head comes off. That's sheared off the top of the rivet, so you can remove the window regulator. Removing the window regulator is quite a simple thing. All you need to do is pull it up and it'll pop off. It's held in by a couple of little latches. And yeah, once you've done that, just remove it all the other out through the big gap. There's the other side already off. And yeah, we just need to remove the centre part of the window regulator in a minute after I give this a bit of a wiggle to get it all in the right position. It can be a bit fiddly because it is quite tight in here. But that's one half of it out, as you can see the damage where it's split in 2. And yeah, we're just going to work this out now. I'm going to remove the 3 white tabs. They've got little pegs on them, so just squeeze them and push them in. They can again be quite stiff, so you just may need a pair of pliers for this, which I do get in a minute. The first one come out easy, the other 2 not so much. As you can see, they're coming out though. So I just grab my pliers now and just speed this process up. Probably should have started with pliers in the first place, would have made this a lot quicker. And that's the window regulator loose from the panel of the door. And then you just pull the whole thing out. You see it's quite a mess. And yeah, we'll move on to the next step now, which is reinstalling the new one. Now it's time to remove the window guide. These are held in by 2 10mm at the top and bottom. As you can see, I removed the bottom one. I'm going to remove the top one. These just guide the window so it doesn't get out of line when it's going up and down. The eagle-eyed amongst you may spot that the window regulator is already in place here. It would be much easier to do this with it out of the way, but I'd already put the new one in by the time I realised I had to remove these, so I'm letting you know now to save you a bit of hassle when you do this job. And on to the other side, this side you don't actually have to remove, you just need to loosen it up so it's out of the way. Again, 2 10mm, undo them and then they pop out the way. And just give it a gentle push back out the way, and it'll be safely removed so you can do the next part. Now it's time to install the new window regulator. I'm using an electric live window regulator here. This comes with bolt-on attachments rather than riveting in, which makes this job a whole lot easier than riveting. So I highly recommend getting an electric live one if you haven't. Not sponsored or anything, but I just thought I'd let you know how easy it is to install this one, and that's the one I'm installing in this video. If you had a rivet one, instead of putting the bolts in, just replace it with the rivets. As necessary, as you can see, I'm just wiggling the new linkage in place. I do regulator replace, should I say, and lining it up. A good tip is always install the top one first, as I do here. Just makes it easier for lining up the bottom one. Takes the weight off. And you can see I get the first bolt in. These are also 10mm bolts that come with the kit with the window regulator. When I do the bottom one, just get them finger tight for now, and I do the other side. Again, just get them nice and finger tight. Just really take the pressure off while you do the next step. And that's the third one in. And then we'll move on to putting the fourth one in once we get it all lined up. So here's the fourth one going in now. And that's all four on the window regulator in place, so it can't move out of the way. Now we need to put the central part of the window regulator in. This is the part that the window motor goes on. You just line it up and then tighten down the bolts. So that's the first one tightened. And here's the second one tightened. Now we're going to move on to getting the third one tightened. And finally the fourth one down the bottom here. Just get them nice and tight so we can't go anywhere. And then we'll move on to the next step. Now it's time to remove the tape and lower the window down. So as you can see, I'm removing all the tape first. Just keeping a bit of pressure on the window so it doesn't slip down. Ideally you need a second person for this, or at least go for below the window just to support it. But as you can see, you can do it on your own and gently lower it down. It should rest on some plastic tabs that are on the window regulator, which I'll show you in just a moment. Now we've got it down, we need to remove these black clips off it. There's two of these on it. Just pop it out with a, be careful not to damage the window when you're doing it, but just pop them out and they'll come out and reveal a hole that the new window regulator will go into. So once you get it out, it comes off nice and easy. I won't show you the other side because it's a bit of a pain, but as you can see, you get it in now and just line it up with the hole. I'll give you a slightly better angle in just a moment. So here's just a slightly better angle for you. As you can see, there's the hole, and it just simply lines up. The window will pop straight onto the hole, the peg there, and then using the supplied clip, you pop it in and secure it down. You can't really see very much, my hands in the way, but we get there at the end. I'll just show you. That just slides on nice and simply. It just pops on and holds the window so it can't fall off the window regulator. As you see, that's on there now. I'll just go to the other side and I'll give you a close up. Again, these just simply slide up and clip on. They can be a bit tricky because there's not much access. But once you get it on there, you'll know it's on there. It clicks on nice and securely. And yeah, now that side's on. I'll just give you a quick close up on the other side. So as you can see, here it is. That's how it should look when you're done. So now on the home straight, we just need to clip this black cable tie that comes on the window regulator. You don't want to do this until everything's in place and everything's secure, because otherwise it'll make it more difficult. So we need to clip off the cable tie and remove it out of the way. It can be a bit tricky, but as you can see, that is out of the way now. This just stops the window from unwinding while it's in transit and that. And yeah, once that's removed, it's time to install the power window motor. So simply all we have to do is line up and put the 3 screws back in. Again, these are T30 screws. And yeah, we just screw them back in. And yeah, this is the first one going in. You want to put a bit of pressure on the back of the window regulator just to hold it. This hasn't got the white tabs like the other one, so you need to put a bit of pressure from the other side. Once you get all the screws in place, so it will hold itself nice and firmly in place. Just a matter of time, just get them all tightened down. I do it in a pattern here, so I started the one and then moved to the other, just to get them started before I fully tightened everything down. And as you can see, now that everything's fully tightened down, it's nice and secure on the window. And we can start putting the rest of it together now. As you can see, nice and tight. And now we need to reconnect the connectors, so the yellow one going on first. This is a simple slide connector, so just push it in and slide it across. Now we'll connect the brown connector to the brown marked plug. It did a bit tricky on this angle, but you can see you get them on there in the end. You can only go on one way as well, so it does help to find the right way round. That one's on, and then we get the black one on. That's nice and secure. Now we need to quickly reconnect the switch, just so we can wind the window up, to make it easier for reinstalling the window guides. So just plug them back in quickly. And then they're back on. And now we'll wind the window up. As you can see, the window will go up. Make sure you turn on your ignition for this. Window's going up and nice and down. And now the window's back up. Or going down, should I say. But now it'll go back up. We can start installing the window guides again. So again, these are just the two 10mm. So put the one closest to the door panel back on first. Again, just line it up with the bolt holes. With the window up, it'll go in nice and easily. It's really hard to do with the window down. Then just put the two 10mm back on. So just get them on there and tighten it down nice and tight. You know once they're tight enough, you can't really move them anymore. And that's the first bolt on. And yeah, that one's nice and secure. And now we'll go do the other side. This one needs to slip back in place. We want it to go in with the wide opening facing up. I didn't say that here, but yes, what you want is the wide opening facing up. And then we'll just line it up with the two bolt holes that it came out of. And get it tightened down. So you can see once it's in place, you'll see the end of it just pop through the top there. And yeah, now it's lined up. We'll get the two 10mm tightened down. Just run them down with your fingers first. Get them on there so you don't have to hold the guide any longer. And then we'll get the other one on. Just tighten it down first. There we are. And that's the bottom one. And this is the top one tightened down. And now once these are tightened, the window is basically back together. All we need to do is put back on the panels. So inspired by the fact that the window regulator bolts in, I decided to get some nuts and bolts and some washers, and I'll bolt the speaker mount housing back on. You can see there's the first one coming through. Luckily these holes were big enough. I believe these are M4 bolts, I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. But yeah, so you just pop these through the holes and give us a nice place to put the speaker mount, speaker housing back onto, shall I say. These just pop through nice and easily, as you can see, so that's 4 in the place. And yeah, we'll get these on. And then we'll put the housing on in a moment. So here it comes. Just put the housing on and just slide in. So from the back, we're just nuts and the bolts, they say, come through the back. And as you can see, I just line up the front here. And slide it through the holes. These nuts are perfect for this. So the bolts, they say, are perfect for this. And yeah, we just slide on nice and easily. And then before we tighten it all the way down, we just want to quickly grab the speaker cable back through. So just feed it through and pull it through. There it is. And it's nice and out the way, so it's actually where it needs to be. And yeah, now we just need to bolt down the new nuts. So you can see, I put a washer on, and then a nut. And then I've held it with a 10mm from the back. And I just tighten them down nice and easily. When you get the bolt started, always the trickiest part. I found this works really easily. It makes it so much simpler for reinstalling rather than trying to rivet the holes. You see once you get all 4 on, so this is the second one going on. I'm going to start them all by hand first and then I'll tighten them down. But yeah, that's the third one going on. And here's the 4th and final one. Again, this makes it so much simpler. Then we get the last nut on. And as I mentioned before, I've got a 10mm spanner behind it. Luckily there's enough room with the window up to reach in there and get it done. And just tighten them down with the other 10mm from the other end. And it's really quite an effective way of doing it. So this is the first one tightened down. Don't over tighten them because they're breaking the plastic, mind you. And then here comes the third one. And then finally the 4th one. You just use a nut and a washer to hold it down, but yeah, they come on really nicely. As you can see, they're all nice and tight down. And it doesn't interfere with the door panel. Now it's time to install the speaker, so pop the cable back in. This just pops in nice and easily. Just pop it back in the way you removed it. You'll click into place. And then we'll tighten the 4 screws down to hold the speaker in place. So starting with the first one. Just goes in nice and easily. The first one's always the most difficult. And here comes the second one. And then that's all the speaker tightened down. Now it's time to reinstall the white soundproofing. I'm just going to use a bit of brown tape here just to stick it back in place. It's not going to be the prettiest, but it will do most of the job to keep everything a bit more soundproof and a bit more quieter. And yeah, here's the finished result now. As you can see, not the prettiest, but it's all in place. I'll just put the cable out the way. And we'll start reinstalling the door panel. So you can see here's the door panel at the top here. I'll just line it up, hook it on the top as it come off with a little hook on the top. And yeah, just line it up and start getting things in place. It does take a little while to line up the holes. I'll give you a closer look at the lining up the pegs now. There's about 8 pegs on each side. You just want to make sure the top's nice and level and all in the right place. And then we'll come down the side. And yeah, we'll just line everything up. And yeah, as you can see, just get the pegs lined up with the holes in the door panel. And with a gentle tap it all pops in. And yeah, that's that part on now. And then we'll just move all the way around the door panel, making sure it's all nice and tight and secure and there's no gaps. Give it a gentle tap. That's all it takes. You don't need much, just a nice gentle tap. Check the door handle, make sure it's all still working and not sagging or anything. And as you can see, it's all nicely lined up around the edge now. And we can move on to putting in the final screws that we need to put in. This job is nearly at an end. You do it all the way around, nice and secure. So now it's time to get the switch back in place. So I'll just fish the cable out from the hole here. And there comes the cable. We've got 2 of black and a white. The white one goes on the bottom of the switch and the black one goes on the top. It just takes me a little while to figure out which way around they go here, just to get them all lined up, and the white one's in. And the black one goes into place as well. And then we simply put the switch the right way up and slide it in. It just pops in and held in with some nice little clips. Now that's in, we can start installing the final screws. So here are the T20 screws that we need to install. There's 3 of them in this part. As you can see, we're starting with this one. Just get it in place. And then we'll get the second one in place. Just starting them by hand at first. You don't want to over tighten these, they only go into soft plastic. So you just want to be careful when you're doing this. And here's the final one just going in now. Again, this one is a bit deeper, so you need to use a screwdriver to start it. And then we'll just tighten these down quickly. That's the first one done. Here comes the second one. And nice and tightened down. And we'll do the third one in just a moment. So here we are, and that one's in. Now we need to reinstall the cover. Just pop it on and it's nicely installed. And then we've got a screw down the bottom here to reinstall. This is a T20 as well. It just goes in nice and simply. And then we need to reinstall the last 2 screws. These are also T20s, and there's 2 of them on the side. Very similar to how we removed them earlier. And yeah, once these 2 are in, we are done with the reinstalling process. And now we can test the window, make sure it's fully working. Now it's all back together, and as you can see, it's all done. And that's how you replace the window regulator in these 2011 Citroen C4 Grand Picassos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, why not drop a like? Any questions or feedback? Let me know in the comments. I normally drop 2 videos a week. So if you haven't subbed to the channel yet, you should, and then you'll never miss another video. Do you know anyone else who would enjoy watching this video? Then feel free to share it with them. Thanks for watching until the end. Have a sensational day.